was all foretold in Daniel. And we read just a little bit, but I'm going to read a little bit more. If you turn to Daniel 8, you'll read a little bit more of this. Daniel goes back and forth speaking about what was going to happen then and what will happen in the end times. Daniel 8, verse 9. Out of one of them came forth a rather small horn, which grew exceedingly great toward the south and toward the east and toward the beautiful land. And it grew up to the host of heaven and caused some of the hosts and some of the stars to fall to the earth. It trampled them down. It even magnified itself to be equal with the commander of the host. It removed the regular sacrifice from him, and the place of his sanctuary was thrown down. On account of transgression, the host will be given over to the horn along with the regular sacrifice, and it will fling truth to the ground and perform its will and prosper. Then I heard a holy one speaking. And another holy one said to that particular one who was speaking, how long will the vision about the regular sacrifice apply while the transgression causes horror, as to allow both the holy place and the host to be trampled? He said to me, for 2,300 evenings and mornings, then the holy place will be restored. So here it's now you see in Daniel he's speaking about what's going to happen with this evil king, but this evil king itself is a foreshadow of the Antichrist. And you can see it very clearly. But so what happens is that we have a book called the Maccabees. And the Maccabees is not the Bible, but Maccabees is a historical account which fills in what happened in between. And it says this. It says, Antiochus the king returned and went up to Israel and to Jerusalem. This is the fulfillment. With a strong force, he arrogantly invaded the sanctuary temple, took away the golden altar, the lampstand for the light with all its fixtures, the offering table, the cups, the bowls, the golden censers, curtains, crowns, golden ornaments on the facade of the temple, took all the gold. He stripped off everything, took away the gold, silver, and precious vessels. He took all the hidden treasures he could find. Taking all this, he went back to his own country. And after he spoke with great arrogance and shed much blood, then the king wrote to the whole kingdom that all should become one people. Each should abandon his customs. All the Gentiles, all the nations, conformed to the command of the king, and many Israelites were in favor of his religion. They sacrificed to idols and profaned the Sabbath. The king sent messengers with letters to Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah, ordering them to follow customs and far into their land, prohibit the offering, sacrifices, libations in the sanctuary, profane the Sabbath and feast days, desecrate the sanctuary and the sacred ministers, to build pagan altars and temples and shrines, to sacrifice pigs, unclean animals, leave their sons uncircumcised, let themselves be defiled with every kind of impurity and abomination, so that they might forget the law and change all their observances. Whoever refused to act according to the command of the king would be put to death. Such was the orders he published throughout the kingdom. He appointed inspectors over all the people, ordered the cities of Judah to offer sacrifices, each city in turn. Many of the people abandoned the law, joined them, committed evil. In the land, Israel was driven into hiding wherever places of refuge could be found. And on the 15th day of the month of Kislev, that's this month, in the year 145, this is of the Greeks, BC, the king erected the horrible abomination on the altar of burnt offerings. In the surrounding cities of Judah, they built pagan altars, the abomination. Now Messiah would speak of the same thing as yet to come, which is basically in the book of Revelation. He said, when you see in Mark 3, Mark 13, verse 14, when you see the abomination of desolation that Daniel spoke about, if you see it take place, you know this is it. He gives this as a clue. What is the abomination? What is going to happen in the end times? What is the abomination, desolation? The clue is in here, in Hanukkah. The clue is in Daniel. Number one, what did Antiochus set up? What was the abomination? It was an idol, because that's what you would do with pagan worship. An idol would be the most glaring sight, profaning a temple. And in Hebrew, one of the words for abomination is the word shekutz. And shekutz means idol, and it means abomination. So sometimes when they say the abomination in Hebrew, it's saying the idol, same thing. In the New Testament, when it speaks about an image, it speaks about an image in the temple in Revelation, that's the abomination. At the same time, the Greeks would see the mountain of Jerusalem as the place for the chief god of Jerusalem. So they would put their chief god there. They would set up an idol to say, just like they would say, we are in charge and our God is higher. It was customary for the Greeks or the Greek Syrians, worshippers of Zeus, to put an idol in front of their courtyard. Well, here's the courtyard of the temple where they put this abomination. That's where you would put the idol. And they would put altars of Zeus everywhere. Zeus was linked to the mountains and the heavens. So here you have the mountain of God. And we actually have, it says in the book of Maccabees, it calls it the horrible abomination. And that's a play of words because it's very similar to the word Lord of Heaven, which was the name given to Zeus. And the other clue, if you go to the second book of Maccabees, it doesn't just say abomination, it actually names it. 2 Maccabees 6:1 says, not long after this, the king sent an Athenian senator to force the Jews to abandon the customs of their ancestors, to live no longer by the laws of God, and to profane the temple of Jerusalem and dedicate it to Zeus of Olympus. So here it is identifying what the abomination is. What was the abomination? Undoubtedly, it was an idol of Zeus on the holy mountain of God. What does Zeus have to do with God? Nothing. What does this mythological creature who overthrew his father, storm god, thunder god, adulteress, immoral, God who changes himself into animals to have an affair, what does that have to do with the temple, the holy temple of God? Nothing. Where God said he will provide the lamb, where God made it, said this is going to be, my name is going to be upon this, on which King Solomon dedicated the temple. Now it's got this abomination, the temple of the living God.
To find out how you can receive more of Jonathan's teachings, to receive special free gifts, or get in touch, go to hopeoftheworld.org or call toll-free 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821. You can also get more at Jonathan Cahn's Facebook page or write us direct at Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA. Hope of the World is dedicated to the goal of spreading God's Word and salvation to every land and people. We do this by spreading the Word throughout the world and sponsoring compassion projects to the most poor and needy around the earth. To get in touch or have a part in God's work, just write to Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA. Or go to hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821.